things you can do for yourself is realize you're not alone in this. There are others. There are others in your neighborhood. There are others in this city. But it requires a little bit of work on our parts as people to keep our ego in check so we're able to work with many other people. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people out of work in this town that are spending their time all alone because they don't have the necessary social skills, organizational skills to say work with 20, 30, 40, 50 people. And it's complicated when you deal with, a number of people. I've tried to work with a number of people because you have so many people and their ideas on the way things should be, and then man by nature is controlling. And so when people have those controlling energies, it can be complicated and difficult to actually get something done. And so things like that, how can we find some way to come together and agree on something, are very, very important, because if we can't do that, we're not going to be able to fight off the system, folks. And there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people are going to have to grow up and realize in this city. This city is full of a lot of very beautiful, talented, creative, artistic people. At the same time, some of those people are extremely, extremely egotistical and arrogant. And so it's something to keep in mind when we're looking at how do we get out of this cage that we're in together when clearly, physically, things don't have to be this way. All right, with that, let's go to the caller. Bill, let him through.
Yeah, Alex, this is Peter.
Hello, sir.
I appreciate all the coverage on Brzezinski. I'm always curious about that guy and what he has to say next.
Yeah, I'd like to have that book. If anybody wants to mail it to me, I'd like to have a copy of that 1970 book so I can have a deeper understanding of all that was written, 40 years ago.
Well, okay. I hope you get what you want there.
All righty.
I just got one other comment. A definition for fascism and inverted fascism. I know you've never heard of that. It's a word expression I just have created myself. Fascism I would define as a perception of a need for a military response enabling the military to drive favored industry. Now, inverted fascism will sound just the opposite. The perception of a need for an industrial response enabling favored industry to drive the military. Now, the perception was that a heavy industrial response would dismantle the USSR. So now we have favored industry driving a military response onward in a war against no real threat or enemy. So we have this United States as a state of inverted fascism.
You have a very good point there, Peter. I want to thank you for your call. You actually inspired me to go back and add one more detail to what I was reading earlier. But we have the fact that Russia knows, again, they know that Brzezinski wants war with them, and that's why officially they are openly preparing for the possibility of having to deliver a preemptive attack on the United States, according to the chief of the Russian Joint Staff. And again, you have the United States, Brzezinski, of course, trying to do his part to make this happen, put a missile defense shield in the Czech Republic and Poland. And, of course, in places like Georgia, it's really offensive weapons preparation. Missiles pointing in the direction of Russia. But, oh, no, it's only the guise of being defensive because of Iran and North Korea. It's completely staged, and Putin knows this. Medvedev knows this. They're playing roles just like Obama. They're puppets as well. And the sad reality is that there's a lot of people that don't believe that truly are going to buy into this nationalistic, warmongering mentality that's coming. And you're going to see this ramp up to war being talked about more and more in the media. And our media, of course, here in the United States, blaming China, blaming Russia. And then, of course, you're going to see this new emergence of this global English Chinese news station. Maybe you'll be able to get it on Dish, giving their version of events. And of course, you have Russia Today that was actually started by the Russian government. There's a lot of so-called conspiracy theorists, truthers, patriots that are featured on Russia Today, but you don't see any criticism of the war crimes of Russia. You don't see any of that whatsoever because they're just showing you one piece of the truth. But again, America is set up to take the fall for all of this all of this dirt that so many globalists are involved in all over the world. Do you really think we know very much about those that are really pulling the strings? And again, we keep coming back down to Germany and weapons manufacturing. But so many people think it's just George W. Bush, the United States, and all of this stuff, that it's just that simple when it's not. When it wasn't just the United States, where it's actually physically impossible for this country to pull off what it's pulled off. China has funded the whole war. And again, we haven't begun to pay back the war debt. So there are just lots of different things to be talking about. Now, this is one thing that some of you are going to find to be interesting. A 26-foot tall Anubis statue installed at the Denver International Airport. For those of you that are very, very interested and fascinated in the Denver International Airport, the murals there, you're going to be very interested in seeing this 7-ton, 26-foot tall concrete sculpture of the ancient Egyptian god of the afterlife. Yes, Anubis, a statue with a jackal head, will be built south of the Jeppesen Terminal. It's been alleged that there's an underground base tunnel that runs from Cheyenne Mountain to Denver International Airport. It's just laced with all types of Masonic symbolism. It's very, very interesting. And of course, Google the Denver International mural. I've been emailed many times asking if I'm aware of it. Yes, I'm aware of it. There are many murals out there that are very Masonic in nature that have a lot of bizarre things happening in them. Children dying, biological war, Nazis marching through the street. You can't help but wonder, is this a warning, or is this some sort of type of in-your-face, hidden in plain sight declaration of what will be happening later on, some type of a prophecy, triggering the question, why does this person know that these events are going to be taking place? Who are these people that put these particular images in the Denver International Airport? We are at a time, I want to leave you with this. A lot of people are afraid in this world today of demons and goblins and being raped and being killed and pretty much energetically being in some sort of a victim consciousness, victim's state of being and mind. And I think it's becoming more obvious to a lot of people that we do live in a world of demons and angels. And you have a choice as to which energy you want to resonate with. But instead of thinking that they're hunting you, change your mentality and realize that, in fact, those of us that really know the truth are hunting them. And their darkness will not exist when we shine our spotlight of truth in their direction. And so I ask you to think about listening even more so in these days that we're living in now to your own heart, and to accept that call to action in this particular spiritual war that we're all living in. And we're going to be talking about this more in the future. There's going to be a lot more people unplugging in the next couple of years. And so while things appear to get worse on one level, the worse things get, the more people have that light bulb go off above their head, the more people want to actually get up on their hind legs and actually do something for themselves, their family, their community. And when we get to that point that we realize that by taking care of others, we take care of ourselves, energetically a lot of stuff will clean itself up. But I mean, like a small child that needs to get a spanking for running across the street during rush hour, we need to get our spanking. There's ways those of us that aren't guilty for some of these things can avoid the spanking, avoid what's coming to this nation. But for a lot of other people, hey, we can only give them a little bit of information, but we came into this world, we're going to leave this world alone. We all have our own individual responsibility to take the red pill, to really understand what's going on for our own lives. And so with that, we are now out of time. I want to thank Bill. I want to thank Stephen for being here tonight. And of course, we will be here next week again, Sundays, 6:30, Channel 23. Until then, I'm Alex Hansen reminding you that the path to the ultimate truth still starts in one place, and that's within. Good night.
Generals got